Welcome back to Budget Build Hot Rods. On this episode, I'm going to show you with a little bit of elbow grease how to get this kind of shine. All right. All right. So, we're going to see, can you see? You see all the scratches. You can see the light I've got on the floor. Okay. So, I'm going to show you a real quick tutorial on polishing out or buffing out those scratches. Now, this is just compound. I am using Harbor Freight. This came from Harbor Freight, and it's just this. The 100 is the number you're looking for because they have 110 and they have different ones. The 110 is just as good as this right here. But anyway, you want for the beginning process all the way up to the extra heavy cut. This is the grittiest stuff you can find. And then so you start with this, and then we will work it down and polish, and then a hand glaze after that. But I'm going to show you start by taking a little bit of masking tape and taping off the areas that you do not want compound on, and also, which I don't know if you can see it, but there is. Oh, can you see my finger? Can you see my hand? You can see it down here. So this door edge, you don't want to burn that door edge with your buffer. So you run a piece of tape on it, and this will eliminate burning the paint because tape will be in the way. It's kind of the professional tip, because it will not take long. It does not take long of being on that edge for it to start burning that edge, and you will take the paint off the primer in a hurry. I don't think I can get tape to stick to that. No, it won't stick. This is the guy that so the owner told me the guy that owned this truck before him used to work for a Line-X company. So the whole stupid thing got Line-X on the bottom of it, and the grill and all that stuff's Line-X, and it really doesn't look all that good. But who am I? Who am I? Anything that, which it's not going to hurt polish to get on this. In fact, I may leave it because it may bling that out just a little bit. So we'll just leave that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this door edge now. You just don't want to get anything on it. Or no, it's not that. You don't want to. Hell, that'll never stick. You don't want your buffer to hit that edge, because then that's when it's going to. That's where you'll burn through. And you don't want to go through all this work of painting it, tearing it down, painting it, sanding it, doing all the work, priming it, blocking it, and then something at the end where you could have just put a little bit of tape on the edge and could have saved the edge. Because that, if you burn through right there, let's just say you burn through right on one of these edges. I can even see what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you burn through right there on the edge, you got to paint that whole thing. You got to paint this whole. This is a unibody. I mean, not a unibody. This is so. To paint this, you got to paint the roof and this on the other side. Just add a little bit of tape, and that'll eliminate that. Okay, now on the buffer, I'm using that compound, and I'm using a wool pad because, number one, this is black, so it shows everything. But not just that, it takes a lot of heat to heat this clear up, it takes heat to melt that clear back down, and that's what you're doing. You're actually heating that clear up, and you're melting them scratches back in. And so it takes a lot of heat to do that. And so if you keep this pad clean, I mean, I've already done this once, but if you keep this clean, and clean, like, turn the buffer on. This is just a door popper tool. I use flathead screwdriver, whatever. So just that right there, get the compound out of the thread, of the wool, not thread. You want to start with a clean surface. You don't want dust on it, because the dust will get trapped into your wool pad, and then you're going to start scratching it with the dirt. We don't want that. So something like that. Now the trick is, I like to get the compound on. Let's get the compound on. Now see, that's about a 18-inch tall, 2-foot wide patch. You don't want to do much bigger than that, because you start outrunning, your compound starts drying behind you because you're covering too much area. Right now I've got the buffer set to slow speed that it's got. Now I'm doing about a 40% overlap. Now you also, the pad is spinning clockwise, and you always want to remember the direction of your pad. So you want it to fling off the edge, off the edge. Now you're going to do you're going to cross hatch it. So one pass will go one way. See, I caught the door handle. So now you want it to go, you want the fling off. That's the reason why, is because if that was paint, I could have burned that edge right there. So now you want to go this way. No, you don't have to go real fast. And a good rule of thumb is you want to confirm that you're getting heat in it, but you don't want to be real hot, because real hot, that means you're going to melt that clear too much, and it'll actually grab a hold of that buffing pad, and it will. So this is the test. I'll see, that's still cool, so I'm not even getting any heat in it at all. But just keep your cross hatching going. About 2 or 3 passes, 3 or 4 or 5 passes. I don't know. I don't know doing the math. But once your compound starts looking like it's drying out, you can go ahead and stop. Make sure you're letting that buffing pad do the work. Now, I would never start in the center of the door, but I'm doing that for you guys, so that way you can get an idea. Now, just using a microfiber towel and just wipe it off. Now let's look and see if those scratches are still there. Oh, looking pretty good. see a couple of scratches. You can go back and concentrate in a specific area. That's a lot better than it was. Let's see what it looks like on the camera. Yeah, I can still see a little bit. So let's concentrate on a smaller area.
Philippians 2 and 3 and 4. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each of you should look not only to your own interest, but also to the interests of others. Self-ambition can ruin us, but genuine humility can build us back up. Being humble involves having a true perspective about ourselves. It does not mean that we should put ourselves down. Before God, we are sinners, saved only by God's grace. But we are saved and therefore have great worth in God's kingdom. We are to lay aside selfishness and treat others with respect and common courtesy. Consider others as more important. Remember, do unto others as you want others to do unto you. Basically, treat people the way you want to be treated. Always put yourselves in the other person's shoes. If you see somebody broke down on the side of the road, if you see somebody broke down in a parking lot, put yourself in that person's shoes. What would you want other people to do for you? All right, back to the shop.
Okay, now we're going to concentrate on a little smaller area. So maybe we can get some heat in it that way. It's really, truthfully what you need. You need the heat. Once you get your compound on and you've got a good layer, then you speed up a little bit. Now, the trick is, especially on black, but the trick is, as long as this pad is spinning, then you have got to continue to move. You cannot stop moving because that will immediately cause your burn through. But as long as that pad is moving, as long as you're going and you're moving, then you're going to be okay. Everybody, it is a little bit forgiving as long as you're moving. %, overlap. Keep your pad as flat as you can without going completely flat because it's going to jump around. Keep it as flat as you can. Alright, this will be the last pass. Let's see what we got. A little bit of heat. I can feel warmth. But You want professional results, you got to do it like the professionals. Now, that is just compound. Now, if we go over that with polish, then that will actually even be better. There's still going to be swirls in it, but you go polish over the top of that, and that kind of eliminates the swirls a little bit. Then you'll do a hand glaze where you just compound. You use a hand glaze and a microfiber, and you go over that your final step. And then you after that you want to make sure you get all your door jambs and everything all wiped down. And the trick is if you're in between, so after you get done compound, you need to get all the compound off the truck. So go in, clean everything real good. Clean all your edges, get all the compound out, because the compound has got a grit. This has got, if you put a little bit on your finger, you can actually feel a grit. That grit is what's actually doing all the work. Now, once you get the compound on, you want to clean everything out, because once you switch to polish, the grit is no longer there. You're using a different type of material. If you have some in a jam and your buffer pad catches that, you're going to add the grit of the compound to your polish and you will see it. So you need to clean the compound off of all your areas. Clean all the compound out of your jams, around your door handles, your windows, everything. Get it all off before you start to polish. That will eliminate adding compound to polish. And then the same thing. Once you get all the polish on, then you want to clean all your edges again. And that way, when you do your hand glaze, you're not getting polish into your hand glaze, and you're going to see all your streaks. That is your professional tip of the day. So there you have it. Hopefully you see. I mean, it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. If I had a tape measure, if I had my tape measure, we would do the inch test. In fact, let's do an inch test so you can see. Let's do an inch test. And so the inch test is you want to do this right here with your tape measure, and you want to pull back, and you want to see how far back you can read the numbers, and that is the inch test. So I can read with the bad lighting right there. Well, if you can see it, that's 23. So about 23 to 24 inches is about as far back as I can read, and then it kind of starts fading into blurry. But that's 2 feet. We're talking 2 feet of depth if you look at it that way. That's impressive. And right there, it's just compound. So once we polish that, it'll even be better. But anyway, until next time, that's your tutorial. I'll come back and after I get some polish on the whole truck, and I'll let you look at that. After a lot of hard work, finally got it in. This is the finished product. This is um, compounded and polished and hand glazed, and I think it turned out good. I think it turned out good. The guy that owns the truck is extremely happy. Never, never imagined it was going to be this shiny. But anyway, there it is. I don't even know what year this thing is. If I was like, I'm gonna say 71 or 72. Anyway, well, there you have it. That is polish, compound, and polish, hand glaze, and I washed it in between the compound and the polish. Pulled it out here, hand washed it, got all the compound of all the nooks and crannies as best I could anyway. But anyway, a little bit of time, a little bit of effort. That's what you get.
We appreciate you watching. Until next time, we'll catch you on the 2 lane.